the real reason superhero movies can't make $1 billion anymore. First off, before we get started, why don't you make sure and tell me in the comments why you think that is, and really, is that true? Can superhero movies not make $1 billion anymore? I mean, we got Spider-Man coming out, what is it, next year or the next? I'm pretty sure that's going to hit $1 billion. And there's another Avengers movie coming out. That's probably going to hit $1 billion too. If they don't, I'll be shocked and we'll realize the world has absolutely changed. But let's see what Mr. Headcannon has to say. Let's check it out.
There was a time when superhero movies made $1 billion at the box office like it was nothing. A
Yeah.
Joker movie without Batman? $1 billion. A movie about a guy who talks to fish? $1 billion film. A movie
True.
about a character nobody seems to like? Still $1 billion.
Oh, man.
Billion, 2 billion, almost 3 billion. But since 2020, only 2 movies have hit those numbers.
Let's see. Spider-Man and Deadpool. Yeah. Of course, you got to remember, too, these movies, you've got so many big-name actors and so many continuations of stories going on. I want to know if a superhero movie with no new, with all new names, with no previous storyline, if it can make, $1 billion. I'm really curious.
And even movies that were loved by fans, critics, and casual viewers, like The Batman, Gun, Superman, Thunderbolts, or Fantastic Four, didn't even come close to $1 billion.
But that's still a lot of money. I mean, even $400 million is still a lot of money. It shows a large interest in those topics. It really does. Most movies don't make that much money, but they spend a heck of a lot on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where the problem comes in. It's not that 400 million isn't a lot of money. It's that, here, let's see what was the numbers there.
Superman, Thunderbolts, or Fantastic Four didn't even come.
Yeah, so Captain America got 415 million. With big name actors and with story continuations. That says a lot. I thought that Thunderbolts got 400 million, did it not? Either way, that's a lot of money, okay? $382 million. It's a lot of money. It shows there's interest in that. It shows that, but it's just for how much they spend on these things, that's not going to cut it. You've got to have a lot more interest, and that's where the problem is. Where is the interest in these movies that used to be out there? And is it not interest? Is it finance? Is it America? What is it out there? Put it in the comments, because that's where I'm really trying to get to the bottom of here.
Close to $1 billion. There are 3 reasons this is happening. The first one is that the momentum from 2019 with the release of Endgame is gone. This is a big deal, because out of the 16 superhero movies that ever hit $1 billion, half of them came out between 2018 and 2019. Back then, everyone suddenly became a superhero fan, and the whole genre turned into a trend, even among people who didn't even know who Iron Man was. Superheroes went beyond pop culture and reach casual audiences like your cousin and your aunt, who used to laugh at you for wearing a superhero shirt. I have friends who ran to see Endgame during the first week just because everyone was doing it, but they hadn't seen the previous movies. This kind of mass event is just like what happens every February with the Super Bowl, which pulls in the hardcore fans who watch several games a day, the ones who go to the stadium every week, the ones who only follow their own team, and even the people who aren't really into football but just want to catch the halftime show. But just like the Super Bowl, you can't keep that level of hype going forever. Marvel took 2 of it.
By the way, Mr. Headcannon, I love the background you got going on there. Also love the shirt. But I love this comparison between the like the Super Bowl and then the superhero movies. It's kind of, they even joke about that on like Big Bang Theory and stuff, where it's like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how people feel about it. They have that same fandom thing going on.
Biggest characters off the board, and the last Avengers movie literally had the word "and" in the title, so a lot of people saw that as the perfect moment to jump off a ride, because I
never thought of that subliminal message.
Felt like they'd seen enough. Now they only come back when there's fan service or nostalgia, like with No Way Home or Deadpool and Wolverine. But this drop in hype didn't just hit Marvel, it hit the whole superhero genre.
True.
Sure, it can be fun to argue with random people online.
Is it? You guys seem to do it a lot. I do it a little bit too, but for me, it's not emotional. For me, it's just fun. I enjoy talking about Superman. Even if you hate the character, you guys know this, I will talk to you about it because I love Superman. Why am I saying that? It's extremely clear.
About whether Marvel or DC is better, but the truth is, when a superhero movie crushes it, we all wanna see more, no matter what logo shows up in the intro. And beyond how good each movie is, a huge factor in whether it does well at the box office and becomes a global event is the money spent on marketing. That's what gets everyone to know the movie is out and actually wanna see it. The superhero movie with the biggest advertising budget ever was Endgame. Marvel spent $200 million just on ads, and that helped turn the superhero genre into a massive thing. Do you really think Aquaman and Joker would have hit $1 billion if it hadn't been for Endgame, even though they were set on different universes?
That's a question I'd like to see you guys answer. I'm not a big Marvel guy. I love X-Men. I've shown my little Gambit toy I keep at my desk before to the camera. I like Gambit, I like Wolverine and all that. But do you really think that if Marvel hadn't had the success they had, do you think that Joker and Aquaman, do you think they wouldn't have done as good as they did? I'm not sure if I agree with that. I feel like Marvel and DC have done this in the comics forever. One is higher than the other, does more sales. The other one comes. It's very possible that the same thing is going to happen with the movies. It's also just possible that the general populace might no longer be into superheroes. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Those movies got a huge boost from the hype around the MCU. Same with Venom, which made $800 million when it came around the same time as Infinity War, but its sequels couldn't even pass $500 million. Here's the thing, no one spent $200 million on marketing since 2019. Deadpool and Wolverine only had about...
That is crazy. That's before COVID. So since before COVID, that's before COVID, right? People haven't spent that much on marketing. I guess it's because they know that people aren't going to the theaters. It costs more. They developed habits of staying in, of watching things on streaming. It really did change things. Remember, guys, this is not a Superman excuse talk, okay? A lot of y'all, anytime people start talking about this stuff, you're like, oh, you're just trying to cope. No, this is like what is happening with the world? Things are changing. It's not the same as it was. Nobody's been willing to put that much money down for a movie since before COVID. That says a lot. That's really interesting.
Budget of around $125 million. Same with Superman. Marvel is saving up for Doomsday and Secret Wars, which are gonna be the next Super Bowl for superhero movies.
Y'all think
and
that'll be big?
Wouldn't be surprised if the movies that come out around that time, like Man of Tomorrow, The Batman 2, or Beyond the Spider-Verse, actually hit $1 billion thanks to the superhero movie hype making a comeback.
I hope so.
I don't know if Man of Tomorrow is gonna hit $1 billion. Honestly, I'm slightly less interested because it's going to be a Superman Lex team up. I hated Lex. I liked Nicholas Hoult. I thought he did a great job, but I hated that Lex character. Smallville made me like Lex because I knew the human side of him. Like, I know I will not be able to see a human side to this Lex because I have seen him verbally and physically assault a woman. I've seen him kill a man. I've seen him, did I just flip y'all off? I did not mean to do that. I've seen him kill a man. I've seen him just be downright evil, okay? Talk about killing a dog. I don't feel like there's any hope for, if he tries to push it and give some humanity to him, I'm going to say too bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your dad beat you or whatever, but you didn't stop the cycle and you had millions of dollars and you really could have. You know what I mean? Like, I won't. By the way, I have sympathy for people whose parents abuse them. I should make that clear. But I'm talking about this fake character. I just don't. I don't think I'm going to like the idea that they're paired together. That doesn't mean I won't think that the movie is good if it's good, but it also means I won't think the movie's bad if it's bad. I don't like that. The idea that Lex will somehow be heroic. I hope that's not the case. I'm sure that's not what's going to happen. So.
But maybe that won't be enough, because of the second reason, the streaming wars. During the pandemic, the biggest Hollywood studios realized they couldn't rely only on movie theaters to survive, since theaters were shut down all over the world for months. After seeing how well Netflix was doing, pretty much everyone wanted to launch their own platform to keep all the money for themselves, and not have to share anything with theaters. Plus, nobody really knew how people's viewing habits would change after being stuck at home for so long.
Yeah, the YouTube and stuff. I didn't start YouTube in COVID, but it started going way up. People started doing channels, but the advertisements, oddly, I think went down. Like, people wouldn't pay as much for advertising. And it's really interesting that everybody thought it was going that way. Mark Zuckerberg put a ton of stuff into Meta. I love VR. I really do. I don't have much time for it these days. But he put all this into Meta thinking the world was going to change like that and it was all going to be digital. It's kind of like half and half. Some people never leave the house. They're always, they have friends in games. They watch movies and streaming. They never leave the house. And other people, like, they like to get out. It's really weird. I don't know. I think it's a lot financial. I think a lot of the people that like never go out, I don't think they have money. And the people that always go out, I think they have money. I think that's kind of how it's going. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Maybe folks didn't even want to go back to the movies at all. In the end, the post-pandemic situation wasn't as apocalyptic as they feared. Disney and HBO made tons of cash thanks to subscriptions on their streaming services. But at the same time, they shot themselves in the foot and hurt their own theatrical releases. Between 2020 and 2021, DC and Marvel got us used to having new releases, both in theaters and on streaming, at the same time. You didn't need to leave your house to watch Wonder Woman 1984 or Black Widow. You weren't watching some sketchy low-quality pirated version anymore. It was just like going to the theater, except you didn't have to pay for a ticket, parking, or overpriced snacks. And best of all, no more dealing with some idiot kicking your seat or some...
That's probably the best point that would get me to not go to the theater anymore. My theater, when I saw Superman in the theater, we all went on the 8th, earlier before everybody else. The theater was great. Nobody was hollering nonsense. It was great. But I quit. But besides that, I quit going to movies at nighttime to avoid teenagers a long time ago, because they just scream and holler and throw popcorn and make out. And it's like, I came here to experience the movie, not to experience the theater. So if people can get that at home without all that mess. Yeah, I could see that having a big impact, because for me, that would be the thing. If you're going to be like, you'll never get to go to the theater again, how would you sell it to me? No more teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be what would do it. And no, I don't necessarily have a thing against teenagers. I have a teenager, but she doesn't do that. You know what I mean?
Weirdo talking on the phone in the middle of the movie. So a lot of people decided to just stay home. That wrecked the box office for Wonder Woman 1984, The Suicide Squad, Black Widow, Tenet, Matrix, and a whole bunch of other movies. We're not even talking about hitting $1 billion anymore, just being able to break even from ticket sales.
Yeah.
Never been about the money.
Realizing that
it's like the movie is now becoming the place to advertise that there's a new movie out. That's what the theaters are now. It's like everybody kind of spreads word of mouth that's a new movie out. Oh, okay, I might catch that this Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what's happened, is it's where people are like, I'll check it out later. It's weird because with the information age, we get things like in an instant right when we want it. You would think people couldn't wait. They'd get out there and see it, but I don't really care, They don't
strategy was killing the movie business. Disney and HBO abandoned the simultaneous release model. But now, every time a movie underperforms in theaters, they immediately put it up for digital sale, and soon after, on streaming.
See, I don't know. I think that that's a mistake. We have made it to where movies aren't in the theaters as long as they used to be. I wish they were in theaters longer, and I wish there was a break between theater that you didn't get to watch it. Even if it wasn't as long, even if it was the same short length that they're doing now, what is it, like 40 days or something? If there was just a break, you didn't get to see the movie for like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that would be a great incentive for people, especially as the movie's going out, to be like, you know what, I better go see that, because it's about to not be viewable, but maybe because people can film stuff on their own and pirate stuff. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
That happened with Shazam 2, which was available to buy digitally less than a month after it came out. Warner's doing this even with movies that are doing well, like Superman. The digital version came out on August 26, just a month after the theatrical release, and it hit HBO Max on September 19. If you're already paying for the platform, you only had to wait 2 months to watch it at home. That wasn't the case a few years ago, when you had to wait almost a year to watch a movie in good quality outside of the theater.
Yeah, that was just a few years ago, yeah.
It's really hard for superhero movies to hit $1 billion like they used to, no matter how good they are, because people know they can just watch it at home shortly after release. The only movies that still do very well are the spoilable ones, that you have to see on day one to avoid having the surprises ruined, like No Way Home and probably Doomsday. But great movies like Superman, The Batman, or Across the Spider-Verse didn't have that factor. So even if
I still have only seen parts of that Across the Spider-Verse. What I've seen does look good. I just don't have much time to watch movies, guys. I just don't have. I have not seen Superman, but I think one time since I've had it digitally, just one time. So I mean, I just don't have. I don't have much time. This freaking channel.
They were awesome, lots of people just waited to watch them at home. Maybe if streaming didn't exist the way it does now, those movies would have hit 1 billion. But we'll never know. And on top of all that, there's the third reason. One nobody wants to talk about. Every superhero movie this year came with some seriously bad baggage that hurt them even before they hit theaters. Let's start with the first one, Brave New World. For months, the internet was flooded with videos and articles talking about all the production problems the movie was having, and how the Russo brothers and the director of Moon Knight were brought in by Feige to try to fix everything. There were rumors of bad reactions during test screenings and leaked images of characters that didn't even make it to the final cut. Tim Blake Nelson even admitted that he had to reshoot all his scenes, disturbing. Which was already a bad sign before the movie even came out. Even though the Captain America franchise is a strong brand, a lot of people decided to stay home opening weekend and just wait for reviews and reactions from people they trusted to see if the movie was actually the disaster everyone feared. On top of that, the movie featured a new Captain America who became Cap in a Disney Plus show that not everyone watched.
I gotta say though, that wing and shield combo, that's pretty legit. I've always had this vision of a superhero in my head that was like Angel from X-Men, but with nunchucks. That kind of gives me that vibe. That's pretty cool.
Casual viewers who didn't know about the behind-the-scenes issues hadn't even accepted Sam as the new Cap yet, because the last time they saw him was at the end of Endgame. So
do you guys accept Sam as the new Captain America? Put it in the comments if you do or not.
If you didn't watch his show, you miss his whole character arc, and the reason why he's the one holding the shield instead of Bucky, which means you had to do homework just to understand the movie's basic setup. You better remember this point because it's gonna be super important later.
Homework is not good. Don't like it. Don't even like it in comics. Crossovers, I'm not a big fan.
Things got even messier when Marvel decided to bring back ideas from a Hulk movie that came out 17 years ago and bombed at the box office. Don't get me wrong, I like The Incredible Hulk way more than the people at Rotten Tomatoes do, but maybe it wasn't the best call to dig up plot points from that movie for a Captain America film. If you add all that up and consider that the final product was just okay-ish, it's not surprised it didn't come close to Civil War's billion-dollar box office. But what about the movies that did get good reviews and people actually liked? Surely those didn't have any negative baggage, right? Turns out they did.
Is that so?
Thunderbolts didn't have any production issues or bad rep online, but it was a movie starring the Marvel legends that nobody buys. I really like Bucky. He's one of my favorite side characters, but if your most well-known character is Captain America...
Guys, don't forget his link to his video is in the description if you'd like to subscribe to his channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give it a like if you want to see more of these kinds of videos. I'm really enjoying, we still got Superman involved, but we're checking out the entire superhero genre in general. I like that a lot. So just let me know in the comments, and also don't forget to like it and share it.
America's sidekick, you've got a problem. And all the others were either introduced in smaller projects or were making their big screen debut, like Sentry. Most people didn't even remember Ghost, had no idea who Valentina was, and didn't know who
That's Julie Louis-Dreyfus. That's who that is.
Baltimore Captain America was either, because I hadn't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Nobody wanted to remember Taskmaster, and even though I'd love for Florence Pugh to marry me tomorrow, her character was basically the backup Black Widow. I think Yelena has the potential to be even better than the original Black Widow, but right now she's nowhere near as well known as Natasha, since she debuted in a movie barely anyone watched, and then popped up in a Disney Plus show. Thunderbolts fell victim to bad planning on the corporate side. It was just a mashup of Disney Plus characters. But jumping from a show to a movie is not easy, especially without the massive promotional push Endgame had back in 2019. You can't even compare them to the Guardians, because at least those guys made their debut in a group movie, and you didn't need to watch anything beforehand to understand what was going on. The negative baggage for Thunderbolts was the Disney Plus shows. Again, you had to do homework to follow the movie, or at least that's what
Tell me in the comments, guys, is it just me and Mr. Headcannon? I don't like homework. I have a thing I want to watch. For me, it's Superman. I don't want to have to go and watch other TV shows and other movies. A lot of you ask why I don't watch Peacemaker. Honestly, I just don't care. I want. Yes, I do like to watch shows with my family. Yes, that does make it difficult because I have to watch it on free time I don't have. But honestly, even if I had the free time, I'd probably pick something else first because I just don't care. I love Superman. I want to spend my free time doing Superman stuff. That's how I've been for almost 40 years. Okay, like I'm a big Superman guy, and I work hard, and I deserve to just focus on the one character I want to focus on. Like, I don't want to be forced to buy all of your other things and make me spend all of my money on things just so I can keep up with my character's story. That's dumb. I don't like that. Do you agree? Comment, please.
A lot of people thought, because the truth is, you can enjoy the movie without knowing any of the characters' backstories. You'll miss a few references at most, but the people who thought they'd be lost didn't give it a chance in theaters. They did watch it on Disney Plus though, because according to Nielsen's numbers, 5 million users watched it in the first 5 days after it dropped on the platform.
Oof, that's a lot of people.
But today we're only talking about box office, and in that department, the movie fell short. It didn't even hit 400 million.
Tell you what, I've seen clips of that Sentry though. That dude's awesome.
And believe it or not, Superman came with more negative baggage than the previous two combined. Sure, he's the most iconic character of them all, but James Gunn had to completely change how people saw the DC brand in theaters. The last few years of the old DC EU had done so much damage that people would literally...
The graphics weren't the best in that movie, the CGI, but I liked Flash. Hot topic, what do you call it? Hot take? I liked Flash. I thought it was pretty decent. I loved the time travel stuff or time travel references, multiverse stuff. You know, I mean, I loved it.
Run the other way if you try to talk to them about DC characters. I'm not just saying it, the numbers back it up. Out of the last 10 DC movies released before Superman, only one made a profit. And in the last 12 years, DC has only hit $1 billion twice. Not even glowing reviews, a big marketing campaign, or the best Lex Luthor ever could fix DC's image enough to push Superman to $1 billion. A week after the movie came out, one of my Marvel fan friends asked me if it was good. I said, yeah. Then he asked if it was good enough to see in theaters. I said, yes again. Then he asked if I was sure, because he'd been burned too many times by DC.
That conversation is probably one of the most important things he said in this video. People ask, is it good? Is it good enough to see in theaters? I'm not really into that character. Would it be worth it to me? Like, it just, basically people are just trying to find a way to wait and it be okay. I'm not sure if that's because of the economy, if it's because of, I don't know what it is because of, but that is the conversation that y'all have had it. You've had the conversation, put it in the comments, right? Like, this is the way it goes. We're almost like looking for a reason to not have to go to the theater, whereas the theater used to be a thing that we couldn't wait to go to. It's like, oh, why aren't there any good movies out? I want to go to the theater. Like, I want to see something, that's worth seeing. And it's more like we're doing everything we can to not have to go see what's worth seeing. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
I kept telling him yes, but even then, he didn't go. He waited to watch it at home on HBO Max.
Zero suppression.
So now, there's a chance he'll go see Man of Tomorrow in 2027. And he's not the only one. Samba TV reported that 500,000 US households watched Superman digitally in its first 3 days, and then 13 million worldwide streamed it in its first 10 days on HBO Max.
That's crazy, though. 500,000 households watched Superman in its first 3 days. That's a lot of theater money they didn't get. Not that they didn't get it, because they would have never gotten it. Those people probably wouldn't have taken their whole family. But it is cheaper, if you've got 5 people in your family, I mean, theater tickets can be like, I don't know, $10 to $15, depending on where you go, maybe more. If you go on matinee, less. But the point is, I'm rambling.
The negative baggage didn't let it reach $1 billion, but just like with Thunderbolts, the people who had doubts...
The negative baggage? I don't know if that's what kept it from reaching that. I just think people need to be rejuvenated in a movie franchise that it was only like a few years ago that it was still on the fence. A lot of people didn't even realize this wasn't a continuation of the last one. Like, they had to get that cleared up for them. I watched a lot of these reaction videos. They didn't even know. They're like, so is this from the last one? And they're like, no. It's like, no, they didn't just recast them as a totally... I mean, I think that confuses people. I don't think they like that. They're like, we got to get invested to a new series. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things I think it had going against it.
Ended up watching it digitally, and they really liked it.
Really very nice and good.
Plus, since the old DC universe was left hanging, and they recast the actors Gunn didn't vibe with, some of the last remaining DC fans weren't on board with this new movie, because they wanted Cavill's Superman back. Some of them changed their minds after watching the film, but others just didn't want to support Gunn, something that didn't happen with Brave New World or Thunderbolts. And First Steps was even in a tougher spot. Not only was it stuck under the shadow of all the negativity surrounding Marvel's recent flops, it also had to convince people that the Fantastic Four were cool and worth seeing on the big screen. The last live-action version of the team was one of the worst things we've ever had to suffer through, and it barely made $167 million. And sure, the 2000s movies had some fun moments, but they weren't exactly fantastic. They didn't come close to the numbers or cultural impact of Raimi's Spider-Man or Fox's X-Men. If the DC brand was wrecked before Superman dropped, then the Fantastic Four franchise was somewhere below whale poop. I know the team has super loyal fans who love the comics, and Marvel wouldn't even exist without the Fantastic Four, but they haven't been popular outside of comics for decades. Even so, the movie had a solid opening weekend in the US, pulling in $117 million thanks to Marvel's fanbase, but
I liked Fantastic Four as a kid. I don't know why. I don't really know how I was exposed to them, but I did enjoy them. I'm not sure if it was a cartoon or if it was a comic. I don't know. I have no idea how I knew about them, but I did and I liked them.
Steam fast in the following weeks, because casual audiences didn't give this new version a chance, mostly due to the bad rep the group had from all the past adaptations. If the Fantastic Four end up playing a major role in Doomsday and Secret Wars, and audiences start loving the team, then maybe a second movie with them could reach $1 billion in the coming years. But there was no way First Steps was ever gonna hit those numbers, not even if streaming didn't exist, and it came out 2 months after Endgame, because the franchise was just too damaged. And I know exactly what you're thinking. Why didn't I compare the numbers from Gunn's Superman to Man of Steel? Well, actually I did, and you can check that out in this video.
Should we watch that video, guys? Put in the comments if we should watch that video, because I honestly don't know that we have. I can't remember. Anyways, if we have, I'll put it at the end screen right here. And if we haven't, then I guess I'll try to watch it if you guys want me to. I don't know. See you later.